Old Daniel.
Oh, man.
First podcast with me, you, Adrian. That's the first day I ever met Adrian, actually. It was a podcast. Adrian, you, Brant, in the front office.
Really? That was the first time you ever had Adrian?
Mm-hmm. The only reason we brought Adrian in was for that podcast.
Really?
Yeah. Was because Brant couldn't figure out the computer.
So you brought the backup in?
So we brought the backup guy in. So can you not?
That's
we'll
funny.
get that tag later, dude. Don't worry about it. No.
Are we on camera right now?
Yeah, we're going, dude.
No, what? You didn't? I don't see no red light.
There's no red lights. It's always on. So yeah, that was the reason I met Adrian, was because of the podcast.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, so you didn't even give me like a 3, 2, 1. We're on.
No, we're going. I kind of don't like bring that down a little bit. That's why I brought you in here, because it's like the test run. You know what I mean? Like I have one right after you, and we were like messing with the arms and stuff. And
have your friends do the be the guinea
Well,
pigs.
that's what you did the first one for me.
Right, I know, we were the guinea pigs.
We had the blue mics. We had those big blue mics. It's so funny to think like that setup was like total was like $400.
Right.
And then now one mic was $400.
Oh my god.
Right?
That's so funny to like. I mean, I'm the friend. I'm on the outside. I'm seeing you go like, evolving this entire time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm on the outside seeing you completely, go from the beginning to now, and that's nuts. Like, if I can give you the affirmation and give you the encouragement that I think you deserve, man. This is nuts to see you go from the start point and being there to where we're at now, and like to see the business grow in that, and then see everything just continually getting stepped up a notch and keep stepping up. It's just
The problem is in like an addiction.
right. You always got to outdo yourself.
Yeah, like I mean,
Always got to be better. Always got to be better.
well, and that's the thing was so funny. It was like even like the first podcast room that was in this room. Like, I mean, like now that I look back at it, now that we have this room, I'm like, God, how did we do so many in that crappy room with like foam falling off the wall and like just a table and like, you know what I mean? Like I look back,
But you had the lights that made it look cool.
But now it's like, now that we have couches and everything, like I'm just hoping that people will be like more relaxed in this room.
Right,
and like,
right.
And I think it's like more like, it just looks going to look better on camera. But
yeah.
The funny thing is too, is like now that I look at this room and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like, it came together. But like without your wife, I would have never been able to
like thought of it and put it together. I know she's so good at that.
It's just a skill set that I just like don't have.
Literally, I know we're going to talk about this later, but the house that we're buying in Tennessee, like she literally has every single item of the home, of the 2,200 square foot home, 5 bedrooms. She literally has every single item and decor and wall piece, bed frame, rug, like mapped out in her head. She knows exactly what's going where.
And she's never even been there.
And she's never been there.
Yeah.
Like she has it all in one shopping cart. She knows where everything's going, like to a T. Like, and it's just nuts. I can't believe some people are just gifted. So she's really good at what she does.
Well, it's like yesterday I went and looked at Arrowhead with a client, and like it was like he wants to turn into an Airbnb, and like we'd have to gut it, and like it's separated. Like it's like a one bedroom unit downstairs, and then there's a 3 up top, and we were like, how could we put stairs in here and like combine them? And then we're like, okay, we're gonna take this door out. We're gonna have this is not gonna be the front door anymore. We're gonna take this out. We're gonna turn this into a hallway. Downstairs is gonna be the main living room. And like all this stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, but then I'm like, okay, like how does this work? How's that work? Like, and then it sucks because like we have these ideas, and then like me and him are both like, well, can we actually even do that?
Can we execute this?
Like, can we do stairs like that steep? Like, I don't know if we can or cannot. Like,
right.
So.
Spiral stairs
we were talking about. But like I'm just so pumped how this has come out. Like obviously took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, but it's done almost.
What are you talking about? A long time. This was like record time. A month?
Yeah.
That's like record time.
Dude, it's too long.
See, overachiever over here.
And the problem
1 month,
and it's not even done. It's not even done yet. Like we were talking about like the shelves. Like I don't know what to put on there. It's like I almost need her just to come and do everything. You know what I mean? Just like just do it all. Like I have zero control. Like I don't want to have any control of it. Like the only thing I cared about, like the first couches she sent me were like $1,000 each or like $1,200. I'm like, no. I found these on like Overstock for $500 each. I'm like, yeah. And you already spilled
done deal.
And you already spilled coffee on it. I appreciate
Did
that.
I?
Yeah. So man, dude, it's so crazy. Like that. Like in a short amount of time, that you're literally going from like sold your Moreno Valley house. Then bought a brand new house.
Right.
Then just sold that.
Right.
And now bought a house in Tennessee.
Right.
and moving to Tennessee.
Right.
Like, bought a fourplex.
We're just going full send.
Bought a fourplex already
Full
out
send,
in Alabama.
baby.
Like, literally.
Selling that too, actually.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Why?
News to you. Dude, it's just I'm just capitalizing the market. I'm going to put it into a better asset. I mean, it was a really nice cash flowing asset, but all the capital expenditures are going to come up in the next 5 years. I just know it. And so I'd rather take all the money now.
So you're saying that's just going to need tons of work?
Yeah. I mean, all the siding's going to need redone. I know that's going to cost $20,000. That's going to need done within the next 5 years or so. The HVAC units, I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 of them are going to pop this year. And then just the turnover. I mean, it is cash flow, but at the end of the day, like what's the goal is, because there is cash flow, but I kind of call it, I've heard other people call this phantom cash flow, because at the end of the year, it seems nice month to month on some of them. But then once you look at the total at the end of the year with all of the repairs and, turnover is really what kills you. One of them was, but I got lucky with COVID. Not very many people left. They stayed most of the time. It was a good cash flowing asset. But still, if I would have done it 100% right, I would have in the very beginning just gutted everything and, redid everything really nice from the very beginning. So then it's a really nice stable asset to hold on to for 30 years. Mm-hmm. But no, I think the most sense right now is to cash in on that sucker. I'm going to take $70K profit, and then I'm going to dump that into a nicer, a nicer property. I'm hopefully an Airbnb in Chattanooga. So then I'll hopefully get the same cash flow with an Airbnb, because that's just crazy right now. And then have a better asset, hopefully in a better neighborhood.
See, that's the problem too, that people always hit me up and want to do it. It's you look at these properties and like you said, okay, yeah, I'm cash flowing on it, but how much cash flow is it actually is at the end of the year? And then what major item could knock out all that cash flow?
Yeah. It's those capital expenditures, your roof, your HVAC, your plumbing, your electrical.
And I think that's why it's it's so tough in the beginning to get started, because you need a good amount of money. And that's kind of how I am. People are like, oh, why aren't you investing in this? It's for me, it's I'd rather have $50,000 in my pocket in my bank account and be liquid for all doing things like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes me feel good than having that money locked up in something where maybe I'm making at best 10% return on my money. I'm I'm making $5,000 off 50. It's just not enough it's just not enough money for me to not have $50,000 in my pocket.
Yeah, I think
because what's $5,000? And it's awful to say that, but what is $5,000? $5,000 is literally in my head, it's if I spent, I probably spent roughly close to $5,000 on this office because of the mics and stuff and the extra lights and some other things like that. But what if this one $5,000 investment gets me another deal?
Right. Yeah.
Which then that deal is $15,000. So literally the investment was way better. Times 3x my money.
Yeah. Well, you're a completely different person. Mm-hmm. So you're just putting I'd rather put the money back in my business. That might get me more deals.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you keep doing that,
hopefully one day.
Yeah. But you're still on the gerbil wheel.
For sure.
Yeah, you're just spinning the
gerbil.
And
that's why
you're just making the wheel bigger and faster.
I know. That's the problem is where I'm at the crossroad right now this year. It's do you get bigger? Do you invest more money? Do you spend more money? Do you
So I think it's just a balance. It's for everybody's different, It's I think the whole purpose of investing is to create a completely separate gerbil wheel that's spinning, that other people are spinning, and you're not on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have that little bit of money coming in. But the point of it is that gerbil wheel starts out really small, and then you probably, it really doesn't make a big difference until you probably have 10 properties. And everybody's number is different. But if I had 10 properties, say at that same cash flow amount that the other one had, I'd be sitting pretty. Not every single one of them is going to go down every month. That's a decent amount of. I think that property was netting me on the good months. No repairs, nothing. $1,000 bucks, $1,000 a month. So if I had
12,000 a year.
Yeah, if I had 10 net. Yeah.
Yeah.
So say I had
10 properties.
Yeah, 10 that's
making $120,000 a year.
Yeah, $120,000 a year. I'm set. So it's you got to build it. It takes time. So you have to have that long vision. So.
What I also think too, my client yesterday, it took us 4 hours round trip to get up to Lake Arrowhead and back, but it was actually really nice because he's someone that's bought multiple properties in Alabama, like is buying an Airbnb, like, you know, so just
so he gets it.
So to sit there and talk to him about real estate investing and how like, and he's really big into crypto.
Right.
Like, he made a lot of money in crypto.
Right.
And that's why he's able to buy these properties.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's cashing out crypto.
Just straight Bitcoin in it?
Yeah, no, not Bitcoin, other things. But like, but we were just talking about like how like, he's like, I don't even care if it's cash flowing me that much right now.
Right.
He's like, I need the tax deductible.
Right. Yeah.
And then two, he's like, I need like, I'm not worried about that currently right now. That's just kind of like Taylor. Taylor goes, I need something paid off in 15 years.
Yeah, it goes back to everybody's situation, what they want. Like that guy has so much. I know a guy the other day that they were asking me about finding a property, and maybe here, real life tip for you. Maybe you can help me out. He's like, dude, I have 450 grand I need to put in a property, and I have 10 days to buy something, or else I'm going to get taxed 100.
Yeah.
They did a 1031 exchange way late, and they literally had 10 days to buy a property. So just everybody's situation is different. That dude had 450 grand he needed to drop into a property right now and didn't care what the return was at all. He just didn't want to pay $100,000 in taxes.
You just got to hold it.
Yeah. So and that guy has all the money in the world. Not all the money in the world. He's got a decent chunk, obviously, if he did crypto. If it worked out for him that way, and he just wants to park it in another asset that he's super sure about.
His biggest thing is like he was just over leveraged in crypto, and so he wants to be diversified and everything.
Yeah.
But and two, it's a kill two birds with one stone, especially with Airbnbs now. People, it's like, oh well, I want to live here. Like my client, I had a client of mine loves Tahoe. He just sent me a photo of him skiing there yesterday.
Right.
And he's like, we bought him a house in Tahoe. Yes, I sold a house in Tahoe, but like he bought that as an Airbnb. But he also wants to use it. So it's a kill two birds with one stone.
Exactly. That's, and we may get into that more today. I know we're talking about our whole move to Tennessee, but that's exactly what I think comes down to people's lifestyle now. I think people are getting the hang of, hey, I can build a lifestyle that I want to build for myself. And I think Airbnb affords that because you can have an asset somewhere else where you like going. And
you can have a vacation home at some, and you don't have to pay the whole bill.
Yeah, it's literally a vacation home at somebody else's expense, and you get all the benefits of it. Like, sign me up.
Well, and I think too now it's like it's kind of like we were talking yesterday, but like now that Airbnb is so popular, I think it was kind of like when Uber first happened. Like it took me a long time to take an Uber, like to get like
but now it's the first thing. Like people,
I don't even think about driving. I only think about an Uber now.
Right.
Like I'm pissed now that I can't get an Uber or a Lyft.
Yeah.
When they first came out, it was like I think that's how Airbnb is. Like, oh, I go live at someone's house for the weekend. Okay.
Yeah, you're like, ew, that's weird.
But now you don't.
But now you're like, no, I'm gonna look at the reviews.
Reviews, and then you're like, okay, like the only thing that kills you with Airbnbs, in my opinion, is the cleaning bill. The cleaning.
Oh yeah, I think most of the guys I've listened to that do it well, I think their expenses are like 35% minimum. And that includes the cleaning on their net revenue. So, I mean, on their gross profit. So it'd be 35% minimum. And I know they say the cleaning bill, it eats a lot of it.
Yeah.
You got to get it to hook up with somebody. And the cleaning is literally like the main point of contact because the cleaning people are the ones that tell you, hey, this needs fixed or this needs reordered or this. So if you don't have a good cleaning person, like you're not going to run an efficient business there.
Yeah. How did you handle like, you know, a lot of people are always scared to invest outside of California, but California is so hard to invest in because one, things are so expensive.
Right.
And then two, like you're just not there's just the return's just not there.
Right.
Like, I mean, you're like I said earlier, like you're parking maybe like $400,000, $300,000 in a property and getting 4% return on your money. It's just not even worth it. So like for you, like how were you able to handle like finally just saying like, screw it, I'm going to Alabama, or screw it, I'm going here. I'm just going to, because
are you talking about more like getting over the fear of not seeing it or just the
fear of not being able to be there, touch it, see it? I know so many stories.
What did we talk about on the last podcast? Did we talk about the screw ups?
I don't think so.
All right. Brief summary, right? So you sold us our first house, right? In Moreno Valley. And then that's kind of the power of real estate, right? We got a lot of appreciation on it. And then that's the cool thing about real estate is in some places you get appreciation and other places you don't. Like usually in Tennessee or Birmingham, where I'm moving now, you normally don't get appreciation there. You would go to invest and get cash flow. But now it's like the opposite. Everybody's going to California and the appreciation's going up there and you're getting both. So that's why it's lucrative right now. That's just a little bit of forecasting is what we'll talk about later. But so then the reason I decided to go outside of California is money. Mm-hmm. Like I think I had maybe $70,000 sitting in my bank account after we sold the first house, right? Like we walked with like maybe 70 to 90, which was so cool. Like, oh my gosh,
after you bought your other house.
After we sold our first house, and then we bought the new house, and I still had like 70, 80 in my pocket, maybe somewhere in there. And I was like, I want to invest in real estate. I know this is my end game. I know this is what I want to do. When we got out of baseball, like literally every day I have a sales job, I still do. And I would used to commute a lot pre-COVID. And every day I would just be listening to real estate podcasts. And like, I know this is the end goal. Like, this is where I'm going to park all my money, screw a 401k. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to build a real estate portfolio. So I knew I wanted to do it. And I remember looking at or listening to podcasts. And I remember having a calculator in my mind. Like, I listened to another podcast and didn't do anything. I listened to another podcast and didn't do anything. I listened to another podcast and didn't do anything. I think that's everybody's problem. Like, nobody ever just will take action, because that takes like a lot of balls to just to take the action and do it. It's scary. It really is. And I think when it comes down to it, there's like, 2 or 3 main things that keep people from doing anything in life. It's really just fear of failure. It's fear of failure or what was the last one? It's fear of failure and like uncertainty. Yeah. So one, you're either just too scared to do it, and the other one is you just don't know enough like to figure it out or care to figure it out. So either option like keeps people from doing anything.
I think it's scary too, because or not scary, but I think what people have to realize, like, to make money, you're gonna have to put money on the line. Right. Like there's all the things like flip a house with no money down and get rich scheme. Like it doesn't exist. Like, you have to invest money for your money to make money. Like, I've done some loans in the past that are definitely were sketchy, and some haven't paid off yet, but like I risked money
to make
a lot of money.
Yeah, if you don't risk it.
And the funny thing is like, it's each person's different. Like, I told people about some of the things I've done, and they're like, oh my God. I'm like, but you put money in the stock market. You have no control of what that company does. If that company goes bankrupt tomorrow, you lose all your money. What's the difference? Yeah. I think that's the issue, is that like, to make money, you're gonna have to put money on the line, and you might lose it.
And that's why it's hard for them to start, because they don't have any to start. And then that's when it comes down to, well, how am I going to figure this out? If you don't have money, you got to find somebody with the money, and then you got to give your time and figure it out. That's the cool part about it. But back to the circling back, that's exactly it. I had like 70, 80 grand, and I was like, the clock's ticking. Am I going to take action or what?
And then you called me, and I was like, do it.
So, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to flip a house in California. Like, not getting into the weeds on how hard money works. Like, 70 grand ain't going to flip a house in California. So
that's what's so hard when people come to me and they're like, I want to flip houses. I'm like, dude, you need cash.
Either need the time. Like, if you don't have the cash, now you need the time.
And then you're going to pay, you can do hard money, but then the hard money, you're paying 10 points. Like, it's just not going to, you're just not going to profit enough.
You can get private lenders. Like, all the people that do it good have people that lend them money at like 10% flat, done deal. But you got to get a reputation to get there, and or take all the risks to even show them that you can do it, like max out credit cards or something to find a way to get it done. So that's why I went to Birmingham first. I researched that market. I really liked it. I think I found the first house for like $50,000. Just did a lot of reaching out to people, like a property management company, bunch of real estate agents, and I got them all to sign off on this property. And I was like, hey, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. And they all signed off on it, and everything went good. The property manager referred the contractor because they used the same guys for all their stuff. So the contractor I knew was going to be trustworthy. That one worked out. And then, dude, it ended up working out. Like, I couldn't believe. I was like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. First try. And then I put some money down. I used hard money, but paid everybody off, made like $40,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So we bought it for 50, sold it for like,
what was it, 120?
Yeah, like 120, like 120-ish, somewhere in there. Yeah. But yeah, I think actually the check was $56,000 on the profit. I can't remember, but I got a picture of it somewhere. Anyway, so that was like,
you don't have it framed on the wall?
No,
that's the one thing I wish I would have done. My first commission check, I wish I would have framed it.
Right. So that one went really good, and then so then I was like, all right, let's do more. But at that time, Birmingham started getting so crowded. Like the word was out on Birmingham, Alabama. So I was like, all right, let's see what other people are doing. And then Chattanooga was the next spot. I was like, okay, hey, this looks good. So then after that one, I was feeling all confident.
Yeah.
I just jumped right in and did 3 more the next year, 3 more flips. And then that was just a crazy headache, doing it all out of state. But people don't realize, yes, it's fear and doing out of state, but there is tools to really mitigate that risk. Like obviously you get a home inspection. The biggest, most important piece is the contractor, because everybody else can hold up their end of the bargains that you can pay for and really to do all your due diligence. But if the contractor doesn't do what he says he's going to do, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. And that's where I got screwed. Overall, the next year was profitable, but not very much. It was a headache. It was scary. Like I was dealing with so much stress.
I know you're calling me.
Yeah. It was, but at the same time, like I was so stressed in that time, but I had never gone through it. Mm-hmm. But now if something like that comes up,
it's nothing.
Yeah. Like I would be way more prepared. Like I can deal with it.
Yeah.
And it was just an expensive education, because I guarantee you I'll never get had by a contractor like that before.
For sure.
Yeah. And so any education is going to cost money.
Well, life experience or college or whatever. And I think that's the thing too, that I kind of hate when people still compare me to like when I was first in this job, in real estate. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not like that. I'm not that crazy anymore, because like at the time I just didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
So I would stress out about everything, and now it's like the total opposite. Now I'm like, we've dealt with everything. Like nothing will ever bother me.
Right.
Lose deals, get deals.
You're not going to ride that wave anymore.
No, the emotional wave is gone, because it's like, well, we've been through this before.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing too. And I think like the hard part is too, like, how was it like having certain people around you? Like, was your wife on board? Was your parents on board? Like, it's tough to take this on if people don't believe in it or support you on it.
Right. Well, I think 100%. Yes. I mean, the grander vision is to build that real estate portfolio. We want to create the lifestyle that we want. And I know my wife's on board with, we kind of think moving to Tennessee is basically the next step that's going to help us get to that point. Mm-hmm. So yes, my wife is 100% on board. She does have her nervous moments where she'll feel like, hey, she just will get a little bit of anxiety over it. But yes, my parents are on board. They want to move themselves. They want to get out of here. My dad wants to buy a house on the beach in Florida and just put his feet up.
Yeah.
But yes, support system is really important. And that's like a crazy thing to consider, because like we just sold our house here with all the appreciation. Now we're basically going to steamroll all that capital into a new house in Tennessee, and hopefully, to kind of add some fuel to the fire of, building this real estate portfolio. And we're going to have no support there. Like I have friends that are in that area. Like I have people I know from baseball, and then a lot of people in Atlanta that we know. But at the end of the day, like
you're by yourself.
Yeah. We don't have like my mom, my dad to come, babysit, and, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law that we just go hang out with like almost every other day. Like we don't have those people. So, yes, it's a big, I know it's a big jump, and it's a big, I'm not taking it lightly whatsoever. I know what we're giving up, but that much more is the reason why I believe in what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And moving was always something Chelsea and I did have on our kind of something we desired. We love the South. Ever since we played baseball down there, we loved it. In the minor league days. But think about this though. How many people do you talk to these days with all the climate that's going on in California, and they're like, oh, I want to move? Mm-hmm. Like everybody.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to move. Mm-hmm. But
they can't.
But I'm the only one actually selling my house, living in a trailer for a couple months, and then buying a house in Tennessee.
Well, that's the thing too.
It's like another level of action you got to get to. And I'm not faulting anybody at all or making myself seem anything, but I think me and my wife considered everything, and we're like, hey, we know that this is the step we want to go in for the lifestyle we want to build at the end of the day. And it's going to be a small sacrifice, but we believe in the bigger vision later on,
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's so, I laugh at so many things now, or so many people or whatever, just because it's like they don't understand the game, and then they get mad when people win the game. You know what I mean? They don't understand how to play the game, but they also don't want to learn how to play the game, but then they get mad when they see people win at the game. Just like you, it's like in 10 years, if you have 10 properties and then you're retired or whatever and you're cash flowing,
okay, yeah, I get
then
it,
it's
yeah.
like, well, like, it's like, well, you also
Yeah.
didn't see him like take the risk of selling his house in California, living in a trailer for months,
Yeah.
buying a house in Tennessee, going somewhere in Chattanooga, going
Right.
somewhere that he doesn't know anyone,
Right.
to then that led to this, and this, and this.
Right.
But like, why does he have 10 properties?
Yeah.
You know?
Or why is he always posting vacation photos?
yeah.
I mean, that's the goal. Like, I love my job. I love my company. They're making coming in big for me to take over sales territory with this jump. But eventually I don't want to work there forever. Like, I want to have enough revenue from properties to let me and just enjoy my family.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to sit around on vacation all day. Like, I'll probably always be working, but like, I don't want somebody to tell me, Daniel, you have to do this or you have to do that. Like, I want to be free. We want to be free to go travel in our trailer whenever we want. Like, we want to go to wherever we want. We want to have Airbnbs in different locations. And so we can go to those places whenever we want. And like, literally, like, how can we get there the fastest? That was the question. How can we get there the fastest? Well, it's not here in California. My income, I make really good money. Probably more than, no, California people make a lot of money. So we're kind of at a plateau. Like, I'm making enough money to like have a comfortable life.
You're probably in the top 10 in your age group.
Yeah. Oh, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a plateau. We're like, we make decent money, but like, it's not enough to like save crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to pinch maybe if we pinched pennies and like ate rice and beans every single day, but no, we're going to live comfortable. We don't splurge on things like crazy, but we don't.
That's what you always get mad at me about.
Yeah, I know. I said, Adam, save your money.
But it's all about work.
Stop
it's
it.
all work expenses. It's never like, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the thing people don't understand. Like, you're never going to save yourself to fortune.
Right. So
like, you can, like, I hate the saying, like, we just bought
you focus on making more
$3
money
coffees.
then.
We just bought $3 coffees. Oh, you could drink a coffee at your house for 50 cents. Great. But I didn't.
Yeah,
and me saving $2.50 a day every single day is what, an extra few $100s a year. Like, that's not like, that's not the end game. It's like, you're so like short-minded that you're not, because you don't want to put the work in to actually like make more money.
Right.
Or take the risk of like investing in something or
Yeah.
quitting your job to go to another job or working at night or putting more hours in. Like,
yeah. I'm not gonna short the penny pinchers, but that's like a scarcity mentality. You know what I mean? So like, instead of focusing on how much more money I can save, which that's important, but like really more, let me put all my energy into seeing how much more abundant I can make my life, like how much more income I can make.
Yeah.
But obviously within the realms of,
life
balance and things like that. Like, I mean, if I was doing that and not spending time with my kids, I would consider myself a failure.
You'd be financially maybe rich, but then
life
poor
life, So that's what I think. It's that balance. So so kind of circling it all back together, it's like we have this vision for what we want to do, and the landscape in California did play a big factor into the move this year, the decision of pulling the trigger. But we were just, me and my wife were like, how do we achieve this goal the fastest?
It's like,
how do we get there? And the best answer was sell this. We got to give up on everything that we love, the comfort we have right now. And I think we're going to turn it into something really big down the road. Yeah. And so I think that was basically kind of the 1,000-foot view of why we're going to do what we do and like why we're taking that jump, and I know a lot of other people are doing it too. I think Tennessee is like a nuts amount of people are moving there right now. Florida too, obviously. Yeah. I don't make your show political. Everybody loves DeSantis.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Everyone are making these moves because it's like you almost are getting to the point here where it's like, how do you even survive here?
Yeah.
Like
especially business owners forever. Like,
and the
business
thing
owners
that people don't understand is like,
yeah.
it sounds so awful, and we try to be careful about these topics, but it's just like, you think certain people are making so much money, but it's not. Like, after you pay everyone, like people, like, that's why I try to remind everyone, like, it's obviously the first of the year, and all these realtors are posting how much deals they sold and like people know like kind of how much money that is, but it's just like, you have no idea the expenses behind running this company, right? Where cool, they sold $100 million in real estate, and you might be like, oh my God, like that's so much money. But if they have 7 staff members, a $100,000 office per year, plus expenses, plus taxes, plus unemployment, plus payroll, plus HR, plus like that whittles down so fast. Like, like, sweet, I remember years where I'm like, sweet, I just made more money than I ever thought I would make, and I'm broke.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay everyone.
Right.
And then the tax bill comes because we don't pay taxes on our money.
Yeah, especially when you're self-employed.
We're self-employed, so then that tax bill comes in. I think ours is in March, maybe
Shout
February.
out to Joey Vidrio.
Joey, if you need tax, if you need CPA, call Joey. He's my boy. But like, and then all of a sudden that bill comes and you're like, I told Joey the other day on the phone, I'm like, how do you live your life, bro? And he goes, what? I go, every time you call me, I'm pissed because I know you're calling me saying I owe more money. I go, I can't be the only person that feels that way. And he goes, well, I actually work with a lot of W-2 people, so I actually are giving them money. Like, yes, people like you, I'm taking money from them. And I'm like, dude, it's like, there's been years where I literally worked the whole year. Yes, I'm not saying I live a decent life. I still live in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Right.
And I drive a cargo van and I take maybe one vacation a year.
Yeah.
But it's like, how have I worked all year and made no money?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. How much you get at the end of the day is the most important piece. You know?
And that's why I think you have to like do what you're going to do, like knowing like the long play. You know, like even this room, I remember when I first got Brant. I was like, 3 years ago now? And like people would like make fun of me and they'd be like, oh, can I get an autograph from you? So I would sign I'd sign my photo and I hand it to him. But like now it's like, oh, I want to do what you do. Yeah, I'm like, dude, this is like 4 years in the making, 3,000 posts later on Instagram, and probably easily $100,000 later.
Right.
That people don't want to spend the $100,000. Isn't that crazy?
Nor do they always have it.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you believe in moving all these parts around to get to the end goal one day and invest in getting that goal one day? Or are you just going to stay at like the medium level? That's a debate I always have.
Yeah.
I always wonder, like, if I would have stayed at Rob's office, or probably would have gone to somewhere else and just done my 20 deals a year.
Yeah.
Never would have done this. Never would have had employees. But like, just stayed that like consistent little. I don't know. I think I would be bored.
You'd be bored?
Oh, 100%.
You'd 100% be bored.
I would literally.
You're hardwired to want it rough.
Yeah.
And tough.
I know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
What's wrong with us?
You're hardwired.
You're the one moving across the country with no help. I'm over here like, Mom, I have no kids. I'm like, Mom, can you watch my dogs? I need you to watch my dogs this week.
That's true.
You know?
We're going to make friends. We were joking around with Joey earlier. I was going to put posts on Facebook like marketplace out there. Friend for hire. I just moved here. I need friends.
Yeah.
Who wants to connect?
Yeah. Well, Joey be out there before you know it.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, I think everybody in our circle talks about it and they do want to go. And I do have a feeling like we're maybe paving the way a little bit for everybody. If they ever do come or not, it's up to them. It's whatever. But I know a lot of our friends wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. It takes that one person to jump. So then you're like, oh, well, I'm going somewhere that I already know someone.
Right.
Everyone needs one friend like you. Like, that's why we're the worst people to call. Well, you're the worst people to call me, because anytime you're on the fence about something, I just say, do it.
Yeah, you do.
Especially if it has money involved.
Yeah,
I'm like, spend
do it.
Spend it. Buy it. Do it. And then, like, you're like, whoa, what? I'm like,
slow down.
Don't do that. You're like, hey,
don't lend that guy that money.
Daniel worries more about my expenses than I do. Like, it's the funniest thing in the world. Like, he'll randomly call me.
I was just in here today thinking about how you could turn this awesome new room.
Yeah, you're like, we could rent this out. Like, we could, but it's so funny. Like, you go like, you could rent this place out, and like, and then I'm like, you're like $200 an hour. I'm like, okay, so say I rent it out twice a week.
You just rent it out on Mondays. That's it.
Okay, so 1 day a week
when you're not using
it. Say
yeah.
two people rent it from me. That's $400. Okay, $400 times 52. I mean, yeah, it's a decent amount of money, but
what else are you going to do with it that day?
That's true.
Just put it in your schedule. You're never doing podcasts on Monday.
That's true. We need to do that. I know. We need to do a lot of podcasts this year.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to do like 40. I'm trying to
tell everybody your crazy goal that I
trying
shot
to do
you down on.
90 podcasts?
Yeah. Your crazy goal. How many is that a week?
2 a week. Not even that. No, yeah, 2 a week for 45 weeks.
Gosh.
90 podcasts.
Just so everybody knows, everybody needs somebody to gas them up, and everybody also needs somebody to check
You're a jerk, bro. I gas you up, and you bring me down.
Yeah, I always gas you up, dude. I always gas you up.
So
I checked you on that one.
Yeah,
I was like, Adam,
it's happening.
90 podcasts, you're setting yourself
90
up.
90 podcasts is happening, bro. Like, I'll interview someone off the street to count as a podcast. There's no limit on how long the podcast should be. Right. Actually, that is a great question. What's the difference? How long does it have to be a podcast or an interview?
I don't know. Now we're talking about stupid stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you this: 90's happening. This is number one, and I have number 2 after you.
Let it be known.
Let it be known.
Make this. Go ahead and cut this.
90 podcasts.
This is going to be an Instagram post.
90 podcasts this year. 45. The goal is 45 small businesses or people doing whatever in Riverside, and then 45 people in real estate.
Cool.
That's the goal.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Someone does.
I believe in you.
There's one.
But I checked you when you set this goal.
No, I think the harder goal would be, I'm already backpedaling on this other one. I was planning on posting 2 news videos a day on YouTube. Like that one I think is going to be harder to do.
That's why I checked you. You told me both of those on the same day. And I was like.
So like I'm pissed because I'm waiting for these companies because I'm like, I can't even start this week. Like I don't have the set built yet. Like, but it goes back to finding reasons not to do something. Like I could shoot those videos right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just like we started this podcast. We started it out in there with crappy mics, hooked up to a laptop.
That's
one
true.
camera.
Yeah.
That overheated and got shut off.
Yeah.
It was a big learning. It's crazy when people now come to me and I'm like, don't do that on the podcast. That's wrong. Like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Right.
We've tried it. They don't work.
Right.
Just like you and like when people come to you now, probably now, like, oh, I want to buy a fourplex. Like,
you're
like,
I'm not a guru by any extent.
Don't buy used.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing people don't think. Like,
it just depends on what their goal is. Like, if you're cool with that, then you're cool with that. Time I was cool with it. If I'm going to do it again, I'm going to buy a fourplex distressed enough and or put enough money into it to leave into it. So I knock out everything in advance.
What is it? What is it called? BRRR?
Oh, BRR.
Yeah, BRR.
Yeah. Buy, rehab, rent it out, refinance, repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, So if if it's something I'm gonna plan on for appreciation and get rid of in 5 years, then maybe I'm not doing the roof, maybe I'm not doing the water heater, the plumbing, the electrical. But if I'm gonna hey, this is legit, I'm gonna hold this thing for 30 years. I'm gonna try and get something for and do all of the big stuff right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just knock it all out. So it's kind of like you're investing in a new home.
So you're gonna 1031 that fourplex?
You know what? Same. I honestly, I didn't look into it enough to do it.
Did you already sell it?
Yeah, it's gonna close in a week or so.
Wow, you don't even tell me these things.
Yeah.
You have 180
No, I
days.
told you. I don't think you listened.
No, you did. You have 180 days to flip it. Just do it.
I probably will. I think would I have already had to start it by now?
No, I don't think so.
I know the rough details of it and the guidelines. So I think I'll be in that same situation with that guy. I need to spend $70,000 in 10 days.
Yeah.
I literally did the math and I was like, I didn't care enough to set it up because I was like, I'm probably going to have enough write-offs to
contract to the
because it's going to be 15% on $70,000. What is that? 10
8 G's.
Actually, I went over this with Joey and he started telling me it was more numbers than that. He was like, no, it's going to be this and this and this. And I was like, okay, maybe I should do it.
See, that's what I'm talking. Joey always costs money. When you talk to Joey, you're losing money. Every time I speak to him, I'm like, okay, that just cost me more money.
Yeah.
That just cost me more money.
When I did the math the first time, I was all 15%, $8,000. I can find $8,000 in write-offs because I'm planning on buying 2 or 3 houses this year. So.
Yeah. And he's over here like, no, it's actually gonna be 12.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh damn.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're gonna have to pay me $1,000 to file it. And
right, exactly.
Anyways. Well, Daniel, I appreciate all the support over the years, man. You were my first podcast. You were the reason why this podcast room, you and your wife, got built. If it wasn't for you two, I wouldn't have been able to even envision this.
Yeah,
and
man.
You kind of forced me to do it. That's something else I think a lot of people needed to do is just jump. It sounds weird, but don't think twice. If you know and believe in something, jump.
Yeah.
Do your homework, obviously, but when you're ready, just what's the
analysis by paralysis?
No, but what's
paralysis
that book
by
called?
Analysis.
What's the book called? Ready, Fire, Aim, or something like that. Ready, Fire, Aim. Yeah. Be ready, take action, and then we're
yeah.
Grant Cardone says, you'll figure it out.
Right.
I think people, it's never going to be perfect.
Right.
It's that first project, and then the contract issue you had where the guy walked out on you and took your money.
Yeah.
A learning experience.
Yeah.
And then I think too, I'm excited for you to go because I want you to get your real estate license. So then you can go look at deals for us, and I can funnel cash to you to buy stuff.
That's right. That's the plan.
I think that's the thing too. Is you just kind of have to build that network of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't do this on your own.
Right.
Unless you have a job where you're making $1 million a
you can
year.
only care about yourself. Yeah.
And then you're like this. But if you can find the right people to kind of interact with, and there's more people that want to help you. Like my client yesterday, he's like, dude, it's so crazy. All these investors just like want to help me so much, and like I'm young, and they maybe like look,
they have money to put out. They all want to put it somewhere.
Then they want to like work on deals, and they can't take every deal. So hey, check this deal out. How's this? That. So Daniel, I appreciate your time, man. I have no idea. The clock's down. I have no idea how long this was, but I appreciate you, man. I'm excited for you to move. I'm gonna miss you, but actually now I'll have a place to go see you. So I'll probably see you more then.
I got a guest room for you.
I'll probably see you more then than I do now. I mean, you're a father with 4 kids. I don't really see you that often. This is the most I've seen him in months. So all this stuff he's talked about.
Lied.
Yeah. Sure. So all right, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I'm super pumped. Honored to be the first guest in the new room.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Until next time, guys. Peace.